Imagine an island where everyone is family, all descendants from a single man, or a place so remote that the closest hospital is thousands of miles away. These are islands so hidden they feel untouched by time. They harbored exiled leaders and outcasts whose stories haunt history. Get ready to explore the most isolated islands on Earth, places that will make you question everything you thought you knew. Number 10. St. Helena. St. Helena is a remote island in the South Atlantic Ocean, known for its historical significance and isolation. It was discovered in 1502 by Portuguese explorers and later became a key stop for ships traveling between Europe, Africa, and Asia. Over the centuries, the island was controlled by different colonial powers, eventually coming under British rule. Despite its small size and remote location, St. Helena played a critical role in global maritime trade and military history. The island's most well-known historical chapter began in 1815, when Napoleon Bonaparte was exiled there by the British government. After his defeat at the Battle of Waterloo, Napoleon was sent to St. Helena to prevent any possibility of escape or resurgence. The British selected the island due to its extreme isolation, making it nearly impossible for him to be rescued or attempt another return to power. Napoleon arrived in St. Helena on October 15, 1815. He was initially housed in Briar's Pavilion before moving to Longwood House, where he spent the remainder of his life. The conditions of his exile were strict, with British guards stationed around the island to prevent any escape attempts. Despite this, he maintained a small household and spent much of his time dictating memoirs and engaging in discussions with his companions. His health gradually declined, and on May 5, 1821, he died at the age of 51. The cause of his death remains a subject of historical debate, with theories ranging from stomach cancer to poisoning. His body was buried on the island, but later transported to France in 1840, where it was reinterred at Les Invalides in Paris. For over a century, St. Helena remained accessible only by sea. The RMS St. Helena, a British-flagged cargo passenger ship, was the primary connection between the island and Cape Town, South Africa. This vessel was essential for transporting supplies and people, ensuring the island's survival despite its isolation. However, in 2017, the construction of an airport marked a significant change. The airport was expected to improve accessibility, but flights remain limited due to high costs and weather-related landing challenges. As a result, reaching St. Helena remains difficult, preserving its status as one of the most isolated inhabited places on Earth. The island has a small population of approximately 4,500 people, known as saints. Life on St. Helena presents daily challenges, including high import costs for essential goods such as food and construction materials. Education on the island is limited, leading many young residents to seek opportunities abroad. Despite these hardships, the community maintains a strong cultural identity shaped by African, European, and Asian influences. Tourism plays an important role in the island's economy. Many visitors come to see Napoleon's residence and tomb, as well as the island's rugged landscapes and historical sites. However, due to the remote location and limited infrastructure, tourist numbers remain low. Number 9. Pitcairn Island. Pitcairn Island, located in the Pacific Ocean, is one of the most remote inhabited places on Earth, with a population of approximately 60 people. Its history is deeply tied to the infamous mutiny on the HMS Bounty in 1789. The mutiny occurred when a group of sailors, led by Fletcher Christian, overthrew Captain William Bligh. Seeking refuge from British authorities, the mutineers and a group of Polynesians traveled across the Pacific in search of a secluded settlement. In 1790, they arrived at Pitcairn Island, an uninhabited volcanic island with fertile land and fresh water. The isolation made it an ideal hiding place, as its location was mischarted by European explorers, reducing the likelihood of discovery. Life on Pitcairn Island was initially challenging. The settlers built homes, cultivated crops, and established a self-sufficient community. However, tensions soon arose between the mutineers and the Polynesians, leading to violent conflicts. By 1800, only one mutineer, John Adams, remained alive. He took responsibility for the surviving women and children, ensuring the community's stability. Under his leadership, Pitcairn society developed a structured way of life heavily influenced by Christian teachings. For many years, Pitcairn remained largely unknown to the outside world. It was not until 1808 that the American ship Topaz rediscovered the island. British authorities eventually learned of the settlement, but due to its remoteness and the peaceful nature of the inhabitants, they took no immediate action. In 1838, Pitcairn became a British overseas territory, one of the first places to grant voting rights to women. The island's language, Pitcairn, is a blend of 18th century English and Tahitian, a reflection of the settlers' mixed heritage. This unique dialect remains an essential part of the island's culture. Pitcairn's residents have also maintained traditional crafts, such as wood carving and intricate basket weaving, which are passed down through generations. These crafts not only serve as cultural artifacts, but also as sources of income, sold to visitors and collectors. Pitcairn's isolation presents many challenges. The island has no airport, and transportation relies on infrequent boat arrivals, which are often delayed by weather conditions. Supplies such as food, medicine, and construction materials must be ordered months in advance. Healthcare is limited, requiring serious medical cases to be transported to New Zealand or Tahiti, a journey that can take days. Demographic concerns also pose a significant issue. Many young people leave Pitcairn for education and employment opportunities abroad, and few return. With a declining population, the island faces the risk of an uncertain future. Despite this, efforts continue to sustain Pitcairn's heritage. Descendants of the original mutineers, like Jackie Christian, actively work to preserve the island's history through storytelling, cultural projects, and tourism initiatives. Number 8. Palmerston Island. Palmerston Island, part of the Cook Islands, is home to a small, isolated community with a population of just 62 people. What makes this island distinctive is that nearly all its residents are direct descendants of a single man, William Masters, who settled on the island in 1863. Palmerston Island was uninhabited when Masters, a British carpenter and shipbuilder, arrived. He settled on the island with his 3 Polynesian wives and started a family that would grow into a small, self-sufficient community. Over time, his descendants continued to reside on the island, creating a society that is both close-knit and reliant on traditions passed down through generations. Today, all but 3 residents are related to him, making Palmerston a rare example of a single-family settlement. Life on Palmerston Island is defined by isolation and limited resources. The island has no stores, banks, or markets, which means that residents must rely on their own resourcefulness to sustain themselves. Fishing is a crucial part of daily life, providing both food and income. The surrounding coral reefs serve as rich fishing grounds, supplying the islanders with a steady source of seafood. Additionally, the residents maintain coconut plantations, which contribute to their diet and trade. Access to fresh water is another challenge. The island has no natural freshwater sources, so rainwater collection is essential. Large storage tanks capture and preserve rainwater, ensuring a supply for drinking and daily use. Electricity in Palmerston is also limited. Diesel-powered generators provide power for only 6 hours a day, making energy conservation a necessity. Healthcare is a major concern for the islanders. There are no medical facilities in Palmerston, so any serious health issue requires travel to Rarotonga, the administrative center of the Cook Islands, over 300 miles away. This journey can take several days by boat, depending on weather conditions, making medical emergencies particularly difficult to manage. Despite these hardships, Palmerston Island maintains a strong sense of community. The residents work together to ensure the sustainability of their homes. Women play a crucial role in maintaining the island's way of life, overseeing food preparation, managing resources, and supporting the education of children. Schools on the island provide basic education, but for higher education, young people must leave for larger islands or overseas, and many do not return. The island's connection to the outside world is limited. Supply ships arrive only a few times a year, bringing essential goods such as fuel, medicine, and non-perishable food. Communication with the rest of the world relies on satellite internet, but it remains slow and unreliable due to the island's remote location. Palmerston's natural beauty is one of its greatest assets. The coral reefs surrounding the island are not only visually striking, but also play a vital role in the islanders' survival. The community has a deep respect for the ocean and its resources, practicing sustainable fishing methods to ensure the longevity of their way of life. Number 7. Socotra. Socotra is an island located over 200 miles off the coast of Yemen in the Indian Ocean. Socotra is widely recognized for its distinct landscapes, unusual biodiversity, and cultural heritage shaped by centuries of isolation. Socotra has been geographically and ecologically isolated for millions of years. As a result, approximately 1/3 of the island's plant and animal species cannot be found anywhere else in the world. The most famous example is the dragon's blood tree, scientifically known as Dracaena cinnabari, known for its umbrella-shaped canopy and red sap, historically used for medicinal and dyeing purposes. Other notable species include the Socotra frankincense tree and various rare reptiles and birds that have adapted to the island's harsh conditions. The island's human population, primarily of Arab and Bedouin descent, has lived in relative seclusion for centuries. Socotrans speak Socotri. An ancient South Arabian language that has no close relatives in the modern world. This language, passed down orally through generations, reflects the island's deep-rooted traditions and limited outside influence. The economy of Socotra has historically been based on fishing, livestock herding, and the harvesting of local plants for medicinal and commercial purposes. Frankincense and myrrh, once valuable commodities in ancient trade routes, are still collected by locals for traditional and spiritual use. The people of Socotra maintain a lifestyle that balances survival with environmental preservation. Women play a significant role in passing down knowledge of medicinal plants and using native herbs to treat illnesses and injuries. Dragon's blood tree resin, for example, is used as a natural remedy for wounds, while frankincense continues to be an essential part of local healing and religious practices. Socotrans have long adhered to sustainable resource use, ensuring that the island's delicate ecosystem remains intact for future generations. However, in recent years, external pressures have increasingly threatened Socotra's fragile balance. Climate change poses risks such as rising temperatures and shifting weather patterns, which have affected the island's water sources and biodiversity. Additionally, tourism has grown without sufficient regulation, leading to environmental degradation. Unchecked development, including road construction and increased human activity in protected areas, has raised concerns about the long-term preservation of Socotra's unique environment and culture. Efforts to conserve the island have been ongoing, with local and international organizations working to protect its biodiversity and promote sustainable tourism. In 2008, Socotra was designated a UNESCO World Heritage Site, recognizing its ecological and cultural significance. Conservation initiatives focus on preserving endemic species, managing natural resources responsibly, and educating visitors and residents about the importance of environmental stewardship. Despite these challenges, Socotra remains one of the most remarkable and biologically diverse places on Earth. Its isolation has preserved a way of life and an ecosystem that is unlike any other. The future of the island depends on careful management and continued efforts to balance human needs with ecological protection, ensuring that Socotra's unique heritage remains for generations to come. Number 6. Tristan da Cunha. Tristan da Cunha is located in the South Atlantic Ocean, approximately 1,700 miles from South Africa and over 2,000 miles from South America. The island is part of a small volcanic archipelago and remains one of the most secluded human settlements in the world. It has a population of about 250 people who live in the only settlement, Edinburgh of the Seven Seas. The island was first discovered in 1506 by Portuguese explorer Tristan da Cunha, after whom it is named. However, it was not permanently settled until the early 19th century. In 1816, the British officially annexed the island to prevent it from being used by the French as a base to rescue Napoleon Bonaparte from exile in St. Helena. Over time, settlers, including fishermen, shipwreck survivors, and whalers, formed a small, self-sufficient community. Life on Tristan da Cunha presents significant challenges. Due to its extreme isolation, there is no airport, and the only way to reach the island is by ship, a journey that can take up to a week from South Africa. Supplies, including food, medicine, and fuel, arrive only a few times a year. Medical facilities are limited, and residents requiring specialized treatment must travel thousands of miles to reach hospitals in South Africa. The island has a small school, a single store, and a local government that manages day-to-day affairs. Tristan da Cunha's economy relies primarily on subsistence farming, fishing, and revenue from the sale of stamps and handicrafts. The island is known for its sustainable lobster fishing industry, which provides a source of income through exports. Residents maintain small gardens and raise livestock to supplement their diet. Due to the absence of large-scale commercial activity, the community functions on cooperation and resource sharing. The natural environment of Tristan da Cunha is both beautiful and harsh. The island is home to unique wildlife, including seabirds such as the Tristan albatross and the northern rockhopper penguin. The surrounding waters are a protected marine zone, supporting a variety of fish species. However, the weather is often unpredictable, with strong winds and storms posing challenges to daily life. A significant event in the island's history occurred in 1961, when a volcanic eruption forced the entire population to evacuate to England. The residents lived there for 2 years before deciding to return, despite the risks posed by the active volcano. Tristan da Cunha remains a close-knit society where family names such as Glass, Green, and Swain trace back to the island's early settlers. Women play an essential role in education, maintaining traditions, and supporting the local economy. Despite modern challenges, the people of Tristan da Cunha continue to thrive, preserving their way of life in one of the most remote places on Earth. Hey everyone, let's have our subscribers' pick for today. The Kerguelen Islands, located in the southern Indian Ocean, are one of the most remote places on Earth, over 2,000 miles from the nearest civilization. This French-administered archipelago, part of the French southern and Antarctic lands, has no permanent human population. Instead, small groups of scientists and support staff rotate in and out, researching climate, glaciology, and marine ecosystems. The islands have a harsh and unforgiving climate, with daily mean temperatures ranging from 2.1 to 8.2 degrees Celsius. Strong winds, frequent storms, and icy conditions make long-term habitation nearly impossible. However, despite these extreme conditions, the islands support a rich variety of wildlife, including several seal species, albatrosses, terns, and 4 types of penguins. Kerguelen is also an important breeding ground for many seabirds, making it a critical site for conservation efforts. With no laws and no way back without external assistance, life on these islands is dictated by nature alone. How does wildlife survive here? What makes these islands crucial for research? Will you stay on a remote island with no access to modern-day amenities? Share your thoughts in the comments. Number 5. Easter Island, Rapa Nui. Easter Island, also known as Rapa Nui, is one of the most remote inhabited islands in the world. Located over 2,000 miles from the nearest mainland, it is best known for its massive stone statues called moai. These statues remain a key symbol of the island's ancient civilization, which thrived for centuries before facing significant decline. The first settlers arrived on Easter Island around 1200 AD. The Rapa Nui people navigated thousands of miles across the Pacific Ocean, using traditional wayfinding techniques based on the stars and ocean currents. Upon their arrival, they established a complex society with advanced agricultural and architectural skills. Over time, they began carving and erecting nearly 900 moai statues, some reaching 33 feet in height and weighing up to 80 tons. These statues were believed to represent ancestors and were placed on large stone platforms called ahu. To transport the enormous moai from quarries to their final locations, the Rapa Nui people cleared large portions of the island's forests. Some researchers believe they used wooden sleds and ropes to move the statues, while others suggest that the statues were walked upright through a rocking motion. The process of carving and transporting the statues continued for several centuries, shaping the island's cultural and environmental landscape. By the 18th century, Easter Island's ecosystem had deteriorated. The removal of trees contributed to soil erosion, making it difficult to grow crops. As resources became scarce, internal conflicts emerged among different groups on the island. This led to the toppling of many moai statues, some as acts of war and others as part of social and religious changes. By the time European explorers first arrived in 1722, the island's civilization had already undergone major transformations. The Dutch explorer, Jacob Roggeveen, was the first European to document the island and its inhabitants. Subsequent visits by Spanish and British explorers further introduced external influences to the island's population. The decline of the Rapa Nui civilization accelerated in the 19th century due to external factors. Peruvian slave raids in the 1860s led to the forced removal of a significant portion of the population. Later, the introduction of European diseases and forced labor practices further reduced the island's population to only a few hundred individuals by the late 19th century. During this period, Easter Island was annexed by Chile in 1888, officially becoming part of its national territory. Despite these challenges, efforts to preserve Rapa Nui's cultural heritage have continued. Archaeological restoration projects began in the 20th century, with many moai being re-erected to their original positions. One of the most notable sites is Ahu Tongariki, where 15 restored moai stand against the Pacific Ocean. Conservation efforts, supported by UNESCO and the Chilean government, aim to protect the island's cultural and natural environment. Number 4. Caroline Island. Caroline Island is part of the Line Islands in Kiribati and remains uninhabited by humans, allowing its ecosystem to thrive with minimal external influence. It is located over 4,000 miles from the nearest major city, ensuring that it remains largely undisturbed. It consists of a series of low-lying atolls and lagoons encircled by coral reefs that support diverse marine life. The atoll covers approximately 3.76 square miles, and its isolation has preserved a rare and pristine environment. The island serves as a critical nesting ground for seabirds. Black noddies, white terns, and other bird species rely on the atoll for reproduction, with over 10,000 seabirds nesting annually, according to the Kiribati government. This high concentration of bird life highlights the ecological significance of the island. In addition, coconut crabs, one of the largest terrestrial arthropods, inhabit the atoll, benefiting from the lack of human presence. Caroline Island's coral reefs are considered among the most intact in the Pacific Ocean. Unlike many other coral ecosystems, these reefs remain relatively unaffected by pollution, overfishing, or other destructive human activities. They provide a vital habitat for a variety of marine species, contributing to global biodiversity. The island's lagoon waters contain vibrant coral formations, which play a crucial role in maintaining the health of marine ecosystems. Caroline Island has remained largely untouched due to its remote location. There are no permanent residents, infrastructure, or large-scale tourism. It was first discovered by Europeans in 1606, when Portuguese explorer Pedro Fernandes de Queiroz sighted it. However, it was later named Caroline Island in 1795 by Captain William Robert Broughton of the British Navy. The atoll briefly saw human activity in the 19th and 20th centuries when it was used for guano mining and coconut plantations, but these ventures were short-lived. The Kiribati government later designated it as a protected area, preventing further human impact. Despite its isolation, Caroline Island faces environmental challenges. Rising sea levels, driven by climate change, pose a significant threat to low-lying islands like Caroline. The United Nations has identified such islands as being at risk of submersion within the next century if global temperatures continue to rise. The atoll's highest point is only a few meters above sea level, making it highly vulnerable to erosion and flooding. Additionally, ocean acidification affects the surrounding coral reefs, weakening the structures that support marine life. Caroline Island isolation has preserved an ecosystem that offers insights into marine biodiversity and climate resilience. However, continued global efforts will be necessary to protect its delicate environment for future generations. Number 3. The Savage Islands. Located in the North Atlantic Ocean between Madeira and the Canary Islands, the Savage Islands, or Ilhas Selvagens, are one of Europe's most remote territories. These small, uninhabited islands belong to Portugal and have been protected as a natural reserve since 1971. Due to their isolation and strict conservation policies, the islands serve as an essential refuge for wildlife, particularly seabirds. The Savage Islands consist of two main island groups, Selvagem Grande and Selvagem Pequena, along with several smaller islets. These islands have a rugged volcanic landscape with limited freshwater sources, making them unsuitable for permanent human settlement. Throughout history, there have been occasional visits from sailors, scientists, and conservationists, but the islands have never had a stable human population. Their primary significance lies in their role as a sanctuary for various species. In 1971, the Portuguese government officially designated the Savage Islands as a strict nature reserve. This protection was primarily aimed at conserving the diverse seabird populations that rely on the islands for nesting. One of the most notable species found here is the Cory's shearwater, with over 20,000 breeding pairs recorded. This colony is one of the largest in the world. Other seabirds, including Bulwer's petrels and white-faced storm petrels, also use the islands as a breeding ground. The islands' isolation has helped maintain their ecosystem, but they are not entirely free from environmental threats. Rising sea levels and ground state change pose a significant risk to the low-lying areas of the islands. Additionally, invasive species such as rats and non-native plants can disrupt the delicate ecological balance by preying on bird eggs or outcompeting native flora. Conservation efforts, including regular monitoring and removal of invasive species, are ongoing to mitigate these risks. Access to the Savage Islands is strictly controlled. Only researchers, conservationists, and a limited number of eco-tourists are permitted to visit each year. The Portuguese Institute for Nature Conservation and Forests oversees the preservation efforts, ensuring minimal human impact on the island's fragile environment. Due to the restricted access and continued protection, the islands remain one of the few places in the world where seabird populations can thrive without significant human disturbance. Illegal fishing in the surrounding waters has also been a concern. The marine area around the islands is home to various fish species and supports marine biodiversity. To combat illegal fishing, Portuguese authorities have increased patrols and reinforced regulations to safeguard marine life in the reserve. The Savage Islands hold global ecological importance beyond Portugal's jurisdiction. Their conservation contributes to the protection of migratory bird species that travel across international borders. Ongoing research on these islands helps scientists better understand marine ecosystems, climate change effects, and the impact of invasive species on isolated habitats. Number 2. Lord Howe Island. Lord Howe Island is a crescent-shaped island in the Tasman Sea, located approximately 600 kilometers east of mainland Australia. It is part of the state of New South Wales and is notable for its rich biodiversity and unspoiled landscapes. The island was first discovered by British Lieutenant Henry Lidgebird Ball in 1788, while he was en route to Norfolk Island. By the early 19th century, it became a stopover for whalers, and later, a permanent settlement was established in 1834. One of the defining features of Lord Howe Island is its coral reef, which is the southernmost coral reef ecosystem in the world. The reef extends over 6 kilometers and supports a wide range of marine life. According to the Great Barrier Reef Marine Park Authority, the reef is home to more than 500 species of fish and around 90 species of coral. The presence of this reef is vital to the local environment as it serves as a natural barrier against coastal erosion, supports the local fishing economy, and provides a habitat for many species that contribute to marine biodiversity beyond the island's waters. Sustainability is a key priority for Lord Howe Island. The local government has implemented strict conservation policies to protect its environment. One such measure is the limitation of tourism numbers to a maximum of 400 visitors at any given time. This restriction prevents the negative impacts of mass tourism, while allowing for economic benefits through controlled ecotourism. The island's conservation model has gained international recognition and is considered a successful approach to balancing human activity with environmental protection. In 1982, Lord Howe Island was designated as a UNESCO World Heritage Site due to its ecological importance. The designation recognizes the island's unique plant and animal life, including many endemic species, such as the Lord Howe Island woodhen, which was once nearly extinct but has since been revived through conservation efforts. The island also serves as a breeding ground for several seabird species, further highlighting its ecological value. The island's residents actively participate in sustainability efforts. The community prioritizes the use of renewable energy sources to reduce dependence on fossil fuels. Waste management is strictly regulated, and efforts are made to minimize pollution. Additionally, biosecurity measures are in place to prevent the introduction of invasive species that could threaten the island's native flora and fauna. Number 1. Palawan. Palawan, often referred to as the last frontier of the Philippines, is recognized for its pristine landscapes, rich biodiversity, and marine ecosystems. Located in the westernmost part of the country, Palawan consists of the main island and over 1,700 smaller islands and islets. Its geographical position has helped preserve its ecological integrity, making it one of the most biologically diverse regions in Southeast Asia. The island is home to some of the most well-known beaches and natural attractions in the Philippines. El Nido and Coron are two of the most visited areas, famous for their limestone cliffs, crystal-clear waters, and hidden lagoons. These locations are not only popular tourist destinations, but also essential marine habitats. The coral reefs surrounding Palawan support over 600 species of fish and numerous species of marine life. According to the Philippine Department of Tourism, Palawan's beaches play a crucial role in marine conservation, with sustainable tourism and fishing efforts benefiting both local communities and the environment. One of Palawan's most significant ecological sites is the Puerto Princesa Subterranean River National Park, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. This underground river stretches for approximately 8.2 kilometers through a limestone cave system and is one of the longest navigable underground rivers in the world. The park is home to various endemic flora and fauna and is considered an essential area for biodiversity conservation. Beyond its marine and cave systems, Palawan's rainforests support a wide range of wildlife, including several rare and endangered species. The Palawan peacock pheasant, Philippine pangolin, and dugong or sea cow are among the species that make the island a significant location for conservation efforts. Various organizations, including the Palawan Council for Sustainable Development, have been actively working to protect these species and their habitats. Palawan's commitment to sustainability extends beyond conservation efforts. Many local women are involved in ecotourism initiatives, working as tour guides in mangrove areas or educating visitors on the region's flora and fauna. These initiatives help to generate economic opportunities while promoting environmental awareness and protection. In addition to being a top tourist destination, Palawan offers a high quality of life at a relatively low cost. The island's affordability has made it an attractive location for retirees and expatriates. A report from Numbeo, a global cost of living database, highlights that living expenses in Palawan are significantly lower than in major urban centers, contributing to its growing appeal for those seeking a quieter lifestyle. Thanks for watching. See you in our next video.